All right. Hi, Faith. So we've got Faith Megna here. Uh, Faith, thank you very, very much for being here with me. I appreciate your taking the time out of your day to do this. I know that we just had a discussion about internet being a little bit spotty. So for those of you out there who travel around like Meg does, Faith does, uh, understand that we're going to have some spottiness, but we're going to go with it because that's part of what we have to deal with when we're doing what we love. So, Faith, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what you do, where you are, all that kind of good stuff.
All right, so I am a full-time RVer and I do it solo, which is a very, you don't hear that very often from a female, but that's my case. I am a business owner. I have a couple businesses. I have a personal trainer that I do online as well. So I do boot camps, and then I'm a digital marketer, and I am relaunching a website that helps people celebrate their birthdays at local businesses. So those two things, I'm currently in Wisconsin freezing my Jesus off. And I'm ready to go south, but I have about a month to go. So if it looks like there's snow outside, there isn't, but it feels like there should be.
So, Faith, you do a lot of different things. I love that you do that. You're not limiting yourself to one thing. How did you come by doing this? I mean, is this something you chose? Is it something that just kind of fell in your lap? And as far as your businesses, how did you get started with those?
Well, I became a full-time camper, and I love traveling. I always have. And I wrote down a long time. I've said this for a long time. So, you always write something down and you're going to manifest that it's going to happen. It's at the top of my little bucket list, see all 50 states. And obviously, I can't necessarily see probably two of them doing this, but that's my plan. I want to see the country. This is a beautiful country. There are a lot of amazing places that you wouldn't see otherwise. And so that is the reason. We all have something in our heart that we want to do, and I have always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to touch all 50 states before I start traveling internationally. So who knows? I might just not even do that. But right now, what I'm in the process of doing is trying to find where I want to land, where I would like to nest myself at some point. I don't know where home is because I've moved around a lot. Even though I'm from Wisconsin, I grew up in Wisconsin, I'm based out of Michigan, I'm kind of in this, I want to find that place that feels like I belong there. So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's how the full-time RVer thing happened. I was really kind of giving myself a year in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to figure out what am I going to do. This was the year after I was divorced, and I got to my birthday the following March. So it was about 10 months later, and I went out and I came home from going out with people and went, time to leave. How am I going to do it? Am I going to do a tiny home or am I going to do an RV? And the more people I talked to, the more I realized you need to get a fifth wheel. And so I knew Philadelphia, and with a 26-foot truck and a full car carrier behind it, didn't fall off the mountains at that point. So I'm like, all right, if I do the math, I think I can do about 30 feet behind me. Oh, and I want a Ford F-150. So these are my two things. And I started, and that was the start of it. So I figured it out, and I have a 28-foot fifth wheel pulled by a Ford F-150. So the King and Priscilla, they were meant to be. That was that. The businesses, I have been in advertising my entire career. I've actually been around advertising pretty much my entire life. My mother was in advertising, and I learned through osmosis. And I learned business from my parents from early on. My entire childhood was them trying to develop 6 acres of land that they got from my grandparents. So, and probably purchased, but you know, I don't know the specifics. I was a kid. But it took them 18 years of my life to do that. So I watched all of these things they had to go through to start this, to get this to happen. And so they stuck with it. And I learned that from them. I learned everything you need to know to stick with going and starting a business and doing something to better the world. So I was in corporate advertising. I'm good at, I try to fix them. I'm a fix-it person. And it got to the point where after I had moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, I was already kind of dabbling in the birthday deals thing and trying to figure out how do I do this. And so I launched it there, and it runs on autopilot. I really don't have to do a whole lot once it's set up. But it was in test market for a long time because I had to go through kind of this period of my life. And so I'm now on the other side of that period of my life that was so good. And I'm relaunching it. And in the midst of personal trainer, because I love strength training and being healthy and athletic and feed ourselves really probably not the way.
Lost you for a second there. No, now I can't hear you.
Oh no.
Nope, there you are.
So this is what happens when you are RVing and you are camping in the middle of a forest.
You've got to work with what you've got. You've got to work with what you've got. So, and that's
right.
Part of what
it does happen. Yeah.
So this is one of those ups and downs that you deal with. So you said that you're a personal trainer online. How do you deal with that when you have this kind of a situation?
I learned real fast that was a tough thing to be doing if I'm not at a resort somewhere where they have Wi-Fi and I can upload things really quick. If I'm living off my hotspot, oh my. I do what I call ladder workouts, so they're short. They're about 30 minutes long. And even uploading those onto YouTube was like videos uploaded. Well, oh my gosh, it's 5 a.m. Eastern. I need to get this over there. You know, people are going to start trying to work out. And I mean, it was really literally, oh my gosh, I have to take a nap, get up, try to edit this thing. And oh yeah, that was really tough. So I have one challenge put together that I created when I was living, staying in Galveston for the last month in the South this last season. And it was fun on my way back because I was doing the state park tour, and every time I was trying to upload my videos, this was going on. I'm going, it's taking me hours. It happened.
So your videos are about half an hour long, and
Yeah.
that upload time poses a problem because of the internet?
It does, yes. If you're living off a hotspot, that can definitely cause some issues. So that's probably the worst thing I have on the personal training side, is just dealing with trying to get my videos up.
If that's the worst of the difficulties that you have, then I'm gonna say that's not bad. You know, I mean.
Well, you know, I'm not dying from the 85-degree heat with humidity that there was in Galveston when I was doing 4 workouts a day.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, really, that was nothing compared to watching paint dry on the internet. I'm going, work!
Yelling at your computer. So when you first started out, did you have, you know, like a savings account that you started with, or did you bootstrap this? How, you started 3 different things. Did you start them all at one time? Did you start the birthday deals? You said you had that going, and then you started the others, or how did that work for you?
Birthday deals was pretty much test market. So I was not making money. We were still in development. We were trying to upgrade the website. We're still working on that. So it's still in its baby stages, but we finally realized, what are we doing? And we're taking a step back to where our beginnings were, which makes sense because it's working. Right. So that's going to be a hurry up and make this happen quick, because we are ready to go and make it start going national. So that's been a fun one. The personal training in person, because I was training boot camps in person. I had a physical place where I went and I trained my clients. And so being on the road kind of switched things up, because I was like, what am I going to, how do I do this? How do I do this online training thing? And I don't know that I don't want to really do personal training. I just want to do the group training and share it with more people. And so that was a learning curve as well. But yes, I was living off of savings that I had. And I am now at the point where it needs to be.
So your businesses are making the money that you need to be able to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Perfect. I love that. How long did it take before you felt successful? I mean, do you feel successful now, and now that your businesses are making the money that you need?
I find success is it's not connected to the money. It's funny because when I was, I've taken on coaching, have hired coaches to try and figure out, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I had this, one of the mentors I absolutely love, if you've ever heard of Lewis Howes, and yes, he's a man, but he's very much about empowering people.
Yes.
And I found him from another coach that just oohed and ahhed about it. And I'm like, who is this Lewis Howes guy? But he's great. Yeah. He really is. And he just what he teaches you, it's applicable across the board.
Agreed.
And he's definitely become one of my favorites. You can just learn so much from what his life has been. And I feel, because I'm athletic, he's athletic, we're both Midwestern, we're probably not, he's not in the Midwest anymore and I'm wherever. So I kind of understand that. So that's one of the people that I have looked to in things along the way. And I had a point to that, and I have no idea where I was going with it.
You feeling successful. You said it has nothing to do with the money. So, and I like that you've made a point of that, because so many people think that, when I get the money that I need, I'll be successful. When I achieve this, this position, I'll be successful. When my business is making X, Y, Z, or X amount of dollars, I'll be successful. But that's not being successful. That's cheap.
And it's even,
never gonna get to.
A lot of times what you'll hear is, I'll be happy when. It's the same thing.
Yep.
And I was sitting here it was one of Lewis Howes' webinars. It actually wasn't even a webinar. It was a group meeting. And I realized I've had this book that one of my friends bought me. It's Share Happy. It's on the top. Oh, hold on a second. I have to show it to you.
Okay.
This is the way it goes. I know exactly.
Absolutely. One of my questions is, what's your favorite book? So if you don't show me a book, then, you've got to. Oh, yeah.
That's a good. Have you ever seen this? So I was sitting there and I was my friend, I love her to death. She was one of my dear friends that was with me as I was going through my divorce. My divorce was awful. But, you know, a lot of people, you know, there were a lot of layers, and that's a whole nother day and story. But she bought this for me. And what you do is you're supposed to take the posters and you're supposed to leave them around and take them places.
I love that.
Share it. You're sharing happy. What is this? Turn up the yes. Oh yeah. Hey.
That is fantastic.
I love this one. This one reminds me of one of my dear, dear friends. And I think it's backwards.
No, it's not.
Sure
it's perfect.
It looks that way.
It just looks that way.
Okay, good. Here it is. So I was sitting there and I went, I'm sharing happy, doing what I'm doing. And I realized at that very point, that's what success is for me, is sharing happy.
I
go. I'm going to cry.
Oh no, I love that. And I love that you've seen that, you've recognized that, and that you're able to share that with us, because so many people are stuck on the when I achieve, or when I get, I'll be happy when, like you just said, and success. Me being able to communicate with you via the internet. I mean, that makes me happy. I wouldn't have been able to do this 5-10 years ago. There's no way. It was not possible.
Yeah.
You know, and actually it's probably longer than that. It just seems like 5 or 10 years to me. It's like, so,
yeah, I've been doing this internet thing for about 20. What are you talking about?
I know. That's what I just started thinking about. I'm like, I wish it were only 5 or 10 years, but it's not. It's longer than that. I'm still a kid at heart. So,
I've been doing this since the late 90s.
I know. So,
and I still don't know everyone. You know, I always go, no one's an expert.
Do what?
No one's an expert. That's,
No.
You know, because it changes. It's like, I was sitting here trying to, don't even get me started on what I was trying to do this morning. I'm like, how do you do that? Oh, God, forget it.
We'll figure it out.
I'll send you a sample picture. Here you go.
So, Faith, tell me what goals do you have?
Well, you've already heard one. I want to touch all 50 states. That's a big goal for me. I've been in 14 so far, and I've been on the road since July of last year. So, and I have actually been in Wisconsin for almost 5 months, helping my parents mend from injuries and taking care of other health things with them. So I tell my brothers, because they live close, but it just kind of worked out that I was going to they needed someone right there, right then.
Yeah.
And I said, you guys get to blow snow. I got to cut the grass. I'll take it any day of the week. You guys get the snow blow. Yay! Have fun. Have fun freezing.
It's the small things.
Yes, exactly. So that's another thing. Seeing my parents healthy again is a big thing. I'm really happy that has happened. We almost lost my mother earlier this year, and that was the realization. And my family, we have gotten very close in the last 2 years, which has been since my divorce. And I'm grateful that they're in my life again. That honestly should be a goal for everyone, is to be close to people in their life. Find people who are their family, whether it isn't your family because maybe your family is no longer with you, or you know, whatever it may be. Find that family. I have little pockets of people all over the place that I've made family because I've moved around the country, but I have my family, and I'm very fortunate for that. So that really, to keep that relationship the way it is now is very important and should be a goal. And I want to continue to have that relationship. Tomorrow I'm spending with my brother, and we're going to be very naughty at our alma mater. I'm like grown up college kids.
You gotta have
I
fun.
can only imagine how this is going to go. Is to make my millions. I have said it for a long time. When I make my millions, and for the longest time I didn't know what it was going to be that got me there. And I have two very big things that will put me in, and that's why I've been so strong to hang on to the birthday deal, put it on the back burner, and it continued to run. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
this is something. It works. And I'm not doing anything. So, you know, as I was growing up, was stick to it if you know that it's worth something.
So do you write your goals down? Do you have them written down someplace?
Even though it's making I have a vision board in my rig. I can actually see, I have like everything's at arm's length in here. Hold on.
I was just going to ask you about the vision board.
Yep, and I've got one, and it actually hangs in here. I will unclip it. It's a big one. Oh my goodness. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
You can kind of see. I did this in the beginning of the year. So.
That's perfect. I love it.
Yep. But this is something that I look at, and, you know, it was very fun to put together.
Oh, you're breaking up again.
Did a meetup, create it when I was in Austin, Texas. That was it. So
that's perfect. I love
all right.
writing down our
I think
goals.
we're back.
Yes, you're back. Yes. Writing down our goals, having vision boards.
Good.
I'm a very visual person, so having something out in front of me that shows me what I'm working towards, it's very beneficial. So, Meg, I keep calling you Meg. I do that every single time. Faith. Faith.
It's what happens, you know, the last name.
Faith, do you have other women who inspire you? Uh-oh, frozen again. I love that you're frozen with a smile. Oh, I think we might be gone. Might have lost you.
I see it. Nope, I still see you.
You still see me? You're frozen. You're
There
frozen
you
with
go.
a smile, so that's a good thing.
Are you there?
It's not working.
I'm still smiling.
Yeah, nope. I can hear you cracking up, but the picture is frozen. Yeah. It's not doing anything. We might have to do over. Are you still there? Oh, no. Did you start over? Say something.
Okay. Back to 2 bars.
Back to 2 bars.
Maybe so.
The fun side of RVing, having intermittent internet service.
Well, especially when you're in a state forest, that will do it.
Oh, well, yeah, you've got the benefit of being in the middle of beautiful nature. You've got to sacrifice something, and honestly, I wouldn't mind sacrificing a little bit of internet service. That's just me. So.
Most people are like, well, you know, I wasn't even planning on doing anything this weekend, and you know, I'm like, I almost went to Illinois.
Oh, you're frozen again. You're frozen again.
Because I wanted to untap, and I'm like,
I'm gonna have to send you this recording just so that you can giggle.
Oh, no! That was not a good face, I bet.
Yeah, you keep freezing, so now you're frozen again. I can kind of hear you. You're breaking up, but I'm gonna have to send this to you just so that you can giggle with me because it's so funny.
Oh gosh.
See,
this
now
is the
it's
way it
fine.
goes. See, and now it'll be fine. All right. See, well, I don't think it's gonna be.
It'll be fine. It'll work.
It's on one bar. That's
one
not
bar.
Good. Yes. It's holding. Hang on. Okay, go.
Go quick. Okay. What other women inspire you?
Oh, I have to say, and this is so cliche, but it's true. Definitely my mother. I mean, she's a fighter. And also my sister. My sister she's now a retired electrician.
Wow, that's awesome.
And, that's a male-dominated industry. There's nothing like it. After our father is a retired electrician. And she became an electrician at 23. And by the time she got to 60, she said, I'm done. I put
That's
my time
phenomenal.
That many years, but she's very involved in apprentice work and bringing on new electricians and mentoring women and things like that too. So, but yeah, she is very happy being retired at this point. But those two, my sister, she's 13 years older than me, so she was almost like a second mother to me. And we have always gotten along. She was on the phone when I was going through my divorce every night with me. On her way back, she'd drive about an hour each way to work every day, and she would call me every night, and we would talk about the day. And that got me through my divorce.
Yeah.
And she is absolutely my best friend on earth. I don't give that title to anyone unless they deserve it, and my sister is by far. She saw the worst of me. She has seen the best of me, and I am just blessed to have her in my life. She put up with a lot, I guarantee it. And I don't think when she wanted a little sister, that's quite what she expected, but she was there, and I would do the same thing for her.
I love that. I have great respect for people who can, your family, your biological family, sometimes you don't necessarily get along with, but when we get along with our family, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that she was there for you. That's great.
Yeah. Yep.
So getting close to the end, I know those are the questions that I sent you. I've got a couple extras. Now, you showed me one of your favorite books, Share Happy. What's another one of your favorite books?
Oh gosh. This one, I've got a couple, and they're probably, one is Blink, if you've ever heard of that.
Malcolm Gladwell?
Yes.
Yes. Very
good book. And then the other one, oh God, this one is with me. Hold on. If anyone has to get through a difficult time in their life, this is perfect. One day, my soul just opened up. And
Ileana Van Zandt.
It's very short excerpts that you read, and then it gives you kind of like a little worksheet at the end of each day.
Oh, really? That's great.
It gets you into reflection. And I have this with me because when I actually find time, where to find time? Businesses. Taking care of parents full time too, on top of that. But
got tons of time.
This is with me because I want to go through it again now that I'm past that worst time of my life. And I have a second
how
book
you can reflect.
But this was from my sister, and it's 40 days and 40 nights towards spiritual strength and personal growth. But this was fantastic. It makes you reflect on what you're going through, what has happened to you, where you want to go, and just phenomenal. It empowers you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It helps. And I actually reflect every single morning on the day before now. It's something that's part of my morning routine. So that's what it started for me. And that really, reflecting it kind of takes everything off of my shoulders and puts it back here. If I have to look back at it, that's great. But this is what started me on that road, and I've continued to do it.
And you said you got that from your sister?
Yes.
The same sister?
The same sister. There are only two of us, yes.
Oh, good.
And then two brothers. They were
So, Faith, what kind of a legacy do you want to leave?
I just want to make the world a better place. And the two things that I do, you know, the birthday deals, it may sound really cheesy, but I'm helping people, again, be happy. Do you see a birthday party people are celebrating? They're not thinking about all their worries in the world. They're having fun in that moment. And so that's, I guess, because this is a good quote that one of my uncles, actually is a great uncle from my childhood, because that was when he was alive. I would go to church and I'd be sitting there and he would always say to me, smile, it'll make the world a happier place. And I have that on almost everything. It's all about that. And you think about it, if someone smiles, someone's probably going to smile back. You just made the world a happier place. So, you know, whether it's birthdays or it's getting someone to realize their health and strength through personal training or boot camp or whatever it may be, I love hearing stories. I love watching people transform and become something that they never knew they could. I had a lot of 70-something-year-old women. Most of the women I trained when I was in the gym were older because I was the oldest trainer. Mm-hmm. You know, you're the one in your 40s, you're the old one because everyone else is 20-something. And I was doing it because I loved it and I wanted to share it. And so I was working with I called them my 70-somethings because they were, and a lot of them never did strength training before. And they were stronger, not only physically, but within too. And it really was magical. So that happiness, that's what I would want to leave as my legacy.
I love it. That's a great legacy to leave. We need more happiness in the world. There's so much out there
that isn't.
Last two questions. So the reason that I put this whole channel together, this podcast, this YouTube channel, is because I want us to be able to convey to other women, young ladies and girls, what it is that's possible for them. So what would you like them to know?
Don't ever give up on yourself. That would be one thing. And what I mean is you may come across people who try to take you down, and you need to be strong. I went through a marriage that I didn't realize I was probably being gaslighted the majority of that 18 years. And when I got to the point, I'm a very strong, independent woman, and here this was happening, and I had no idea because I was protecting him, and I gave myself up going through that. So trying to protect someone you love doesn't always help you, and so you need to be strong for yourself. Again, to get myself to where I am today, there was a lot of fighting to get me back. And doing the camping thing was part of me embracing that. I had to find me, and this was the best decision of my life because I fought for myself to do what I was going to do. A lot of people would never do this. Give up a 2,400 square foot home, sell all your things, put the rest in the storage that you had to keep, because you always have to keep a little bit of stuff. and move into a 28-foot fifth wheel and start traveling the country. I mean, most people are like, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, but it's something I want to do. And I just had that conversation this morning with a friend. And he was like, you know what, Faith, it totally fits you. And I said, I know it does. It's the best decision of my life. And it was me getting me back. So that's probably the biggest thing is keep yourself. Don't give up on yourself. And I was really put down by someone that I loved. And that was a very tough time in my life.
I understand that. So yeah, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with you. Don't forget that you are the most important person in your world, and then everybody else. You don't take care of yourself, you really can't give to everybody else.
No.
So,
you have to love yourself first.
Absolutely. So one last question. What question that I didn't ask you should I have asked?
Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness. I'm flabbergasted because I didn't get a chance to look that one. I didn't look at the questions before we started talking.
And that one was not on the list. So.
Oh, well, then there we go. What should you have asked me? Oh, my goodness. And I'm trying to think, along which line I want to go, because there's so many different things that, again, how many different facets you can have. What would be the biggest impression for someone? And I think this was actually something that came from Matthew Hussey. He's a relationship coach. This stuck with me since I'm kind of talking about the divorce thing that I went through. This probably is the best. And this was a question on a podcast from Lewis and Matthew because they're little buddies. But I love both of them. And Lewis asked Matthew, what's the perfect relationship? And this was the best explanation because after I went through being a 1 + 1 = 1, which is, yes, there's you and there's me, but it's about you.
Yeah.
There is the perfect relationship, which I think in any situation, whether you're dealing with people in business or if it's love or whatever it may be, when it comes to relationships, 1 + 1 = 3. You plus me equals us. So whether it's teamwork in a business scenario or it's teamwork or a partnership in love, that probably is the most important thing no matter where we are in life. So
you're each an individual, and then you're also a team. Yeah.
Yep.
That is. I really like that. Thank you very much.
I wish I would have had that.
For
about 18 years.
I completely understand. I was there. Let's finish this up. Thank you, Faith, very, very much. I really appreciate you taking the time for this. I understand that the connectivity was an issue. What I'm going to do is go ahead and we're going to share this because that shows both sides of, camping and the good, the bad, the difficulties. But I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I enjoyed chatting with you and sharing the in-depth experiences of this world with everyone as well. So it was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks.